So you talked to her about your diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm wondering though about you in this situation. Sorry, you got a cancer diagnosis. You got breast cancer. You got a 6-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do? And we live in a country that is notoriously terrible at supporting parents with young children. We are all siloed into our nuclear families, and we're not necessarily connected to the community in a really like concrete day-to-day kind of way. And we don't have the financial support, all of those different things. So what did you do to support yourself and your daughter through this situation?
Well, I think most of us, I was notoriously bad about this. I never asked for help. And I think a lot of single moms are that way. I worried about being a burden to people. I felt that I had made these life choices that meant I needed to do everything alone. And I was diagnosed with cancer at 4 p.m. on a Friday afternoon. And by 6 o'clock, I had worked at a startup at the time, and my CEO knew that I was going to have this screening, and she texted me to ask what happened, and I was in shock, and I said, I have cancer. And she said, what can I do? How can I help? And I was like, immediately, nothing. I had no one. My daughter had just gone with her dad. I was alone. And I was like, I don't need anything. And then she said, please, can I help you? Can I bring you something? Can I bring you groceries? Can I do something? And I said, you know what? Actually, yeah, that would be great. And so she brought me flowers. She brought me 3 grocery bags full of all kinds of random stuff. And she was just like, I'm so sorry this is happening. And that was the first time I ever accepted help. And I called my mom, and I feel like she must have flown to my house from another state. She was there like very fast. She must have been driving really fast. So I wasn't alone for very long, and my parents really supported me. My friends would show up and do really kind things for me. One friend put parfaits in my refrigerator and didn't tell me. So I just had like people who were just giving me things with no expectation of anything in response. And it taught me so much about how important it is to allow yourself to relax and receive, because the giving and receiving is a cycle. And if you say no, you are stopping that cycle. And it really is a beautiful thing that your village can do for you, and that you then can do for them when you're able. And I'd never had that. So it was really quite a lesson for me, and it changed my life totally. So I allowed my friends and my family to help me. And I never would have thought that I would be happy to be divorced. But my ex-husband and his wife, they had just had a baby, and he was like the most wonderful distraction for my daughter, because she could go to their house and play with her baby brother, and we would switch our custody schedule around. And I say this, and I know that there are parents out there who are like, that could never be me, because I have a horrible relationship with my ex-husband, and he would be like, good riddance, I hope you die, or something terrible. And I would have thought that that would have been my experience. But when someone is diagnosed with cancer, like in real life, it changed the entire dynamic in our co-parenting relationship. And everybody just was out to help my daughter, help me. And it really just, I would never wish cancer on anyone, but it really did help with with everything. I just became a much better person, more willing to help, ask for help, and be graciously accepting it. So I hope that people can learn to do that without having cancer, because it's great.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and when people receive, sometimes it feels like such a gift to be needed.
Mhm.
to give something to somebody who needs it. Like sometimes it feels really good to do an act of service rather than give
Yes.
money or whatever it is. Like I want to do
Yes.
a thing. Like that connection is valuable on both sides.
Totally. I think if I had said no to my CEO, she would have just been sitting there all night feeling terrible. Like,
Yeah.
what do I do? How do I help my employee who is a single mom and was just diagnosed with cancer? And by saying yes, she felt good helping me. I felt good in that I didn't have to figure out what to eat for dinner. And it was a gift to both of us. And I have been on the other end of that now, with other friends who've needed help. And it really is, I would have been so sad if they had said no and not allowed me to help them, pick up their kids and take them to school for them or whatever the case.
Yeah.
So it really
Yeah.
is a gift to accept help.
I agree.